Okay. Hi, I'm Priya. I am in the Majordomo kitchen and I am making Gobhi Keema Matar. And so I've had so many versions of keema. It is usually a dish with ground beef and often peas. And I guess what was intriguing about this recipe is I've never really seen a vegetarian version. I have a friend who's made a version with mushrooms, actually. That is a vegetarian version, but I've never seen it done with cauliflower. So I kind of like texted around to my friends. I was like, has anyone seen a vegetarian version of keema with ground cauliflower? And they were like, oh, it's kind of like the OG cauliflower rice. And this looks really good. I cook a lot of vegetarian food at home. This kind of seems like a really great vegetarian alternative to keema. So I was intrigued by Abhishek's recipe. And I don't think we've cooked Indian food yet this season, so felt like it was time. And the limitation that I have is pantry only, or like a doomsday prepper, which is actually not too difficult for this recipe. The biggest thing was like, what do I do about the cauliflower and the peas? And Dave actually had the idea to do freeze-dried. There were a few things I considered. I considered canned, but I was like, canned is just gonna taste sad. And with a dish like this, you really want like the fresh taste of the vegetables. And I feel like freeze-dried is gonna get that more than canned. I thought about pickled cauliflower, like picking it out and rinsing it. I didn't want like that super acidic flavor to linger. So I was like, nah. So I'm gonna go with freeze-dried cauliflower, freeze-dried peas. It calls for tomatoes. I just used canned tomatoes that I'm gonna squish by hand. Just gonna do that while I talk. Ginger garlic, no problem, because of ginger garlic paste, a staple of Indian cooking, and you can find it in Indian stores on shelves. And once you open it, I think you have to put it in the fridge, but otherwise it's fine. Actually, I think I got ginger paste, so we're gonna use that, and garlic powder. Instead of chilies, we've got diced green chilies. All the spices, of course, are shelf stable. Oil is shelf stable, but I'm gonna use ghee because I think it'll taste better. First thing I'm going to do is soak my cauliflower. So this recipe calls to soak in turmeric water. So I may be totally off base, but from what I understand, soaking in turmeric water is a way to like remove any of like the impurities from vegetables, and it's a thing that many Indian aunties do. I think I'm good. I don't think I need to do that, so I'm gonna not soak it in turmeric water and just soak it in water to rehydrate it. I don't think I need to soak the peas in water because we'll have liquid, so I think they'll naturally rehydrate, but I'm gonna do it with the cauliflower. Just gonna see what state the cauliflower is in, because it might already be like the ground keema state. All right, so this is what it looks like. If you can see, I'll take some out. This is what it looks like. So I'm just gonna close the bag and just crunch it up. Oh, it smells actually really fragrant. And just do this. Just like DIY ground cauliflower. And then I'm gonna stick it in here, put some water, and let it soak. I mean, this is actually very smart because when you blitz cauliflower, it does have that like ground texture to it. I think this is gonna be really good. And peas and cauliflower are a very classic mix in an Indian sabzi. Okay. It smells like very cauliflowery. You know, I might be a fan of freeze-dried cauliflower. Okay. I'm just gonna dump this in here. Oop. Take that out. So I'm just gonna add some warm water. Okay, so I'm just gonna like, you know, actually this is like, this is basically rehydrated. I don't really have to do much. I'm just gonna drain this now. So this is our cauliflower. Looks a little bit like vomit, but is going to taste good. All right, so now I think we're good to go. A cool thing about Indian cooking is that the sort of order matters when you add spices. You're sort of slowly but surely layering flavor. One thing in this recipe, I think he said it was written by ChatGPT, that stood out to me was that you add the garam masala at the end. I'm gonna do that in the middle when I add the other spices, but right now I'm sort of starting with whole cumin seeds. So that's gonna make like a nice smoky, earthy base for everything else. All right, this is basically melted. So I'm gonna add these. So really, when toasting cumin seeds, you're just looking to smell this like nice smoky fragrance and for them to get like a shade darker. This is like one of my favorite smells in the entire world. Cumin seeds toasting in ghee. So I'm just gonna give that a second to toast. Usually like another visual indicator that they're good to go is they'll start sort of like dancing around like this in the pan. And like really you need to be patient and wait because you're not gonna get that nice building of flavor if you're not toasting them. You gotta toast your spices. You can hear the sizzle. Cumin seeds will start to go. And then, so in lieu of fresh onions, Chris gifted me this bag of fried shallots that I'm going to use in lieu of onions. I genuinely think this is gonna taste really delicious. All right, large onion, so a lot of these. I'm also not measuring, I'm just kind of doing what feels right. Going full Dave on this.
Excuse you, Priya. Excuse you.
I've never been so offended in my life.
Let's do that much. And I think what's gonna happen is that they're gonna sort of rehydrate in this too. I mean, this smells amazing. Really, really, really outstanding. I'm just gonna let this toast for like a minute and then I'm gonna add like my ginger, garlic. I'm gonna let that toast for another minute. I add my spices, I'm gonna let that toast. It's sort of like you keep adding, toasting, seasoning. I'll probably season when I add my cauliflower. And another thing I'm gonna do that's slightly different from the recipe is I'm gonna add the peas at the end. My mom has this thing when she cooks with peas where she feels like the really fresh pea flavor is a nice contrast with the tomato, with all the spices. And so to preserve that like nice fresh pea flavor, she adds it right at the end and cooks it only until like the frozen peas thaw or the peas just like are just cooked to sort of add that like verdant fresh flavor. So I'm gonna do that in the hopes that like, despite the fact that we're not using anything fresh, it'll like add that little hit of freshness. I mean, this is kind of awesome. Pantry only Gobhi Keema Matar could be really good. You know how my mom taught me how to pronounce the word matar, which is the joke, matar means pea in Hindi. How does a pea talk? It mutters. All right, so let's add ginger. And I've never cooked with ginger paste, just ginger garlic paste. I think this is slightly different. Garlic. It's smelling really good in here, guys. I mean, we've basically just got a lot of fat and mostly aromatics. Oh, and I need to open this. Do we have a can opener?
Oh, she doesn't know how to use it.
How, like,
She's lefty too.
You gotta figure it out.
this is absolutely.
How many New York Times writers?
This is both a righty thing. Thank you.
He's in there accusing us of conspiracy.
Why is he accusing us of conspiracy?
I can't reveal. It's gonna be a thing.
Whatever you're doing now is certainly not helping.
I know.
Boring.
All right.
All right.
I saw that secret handshake you guys gave to each other.
All right, green chilies. Okay, so now I'm gonna add, how many tomatoes did it want me to add? I don't think I'm gonna add all of these tomatoes. 2 tomatoes, okay. I'm gonna add that much. And then I'm just gonna let this simmer for a while. Just like do its thing, let the flavors mix and mingle. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna add the spices now. Okay, so we've got turmeric, red chili powder, hing. Turmeric, red chili powder. Oops. So the thing about hing is that a little goes a long way, and every variety has a slightly different flavor to it that's gonna lend something different to your food, but it has to be heated. You can't just like sprinkle raw hing and hope for the best. Oh, okay, that's a lot of hing, but I think it's gonna taste really good. Okay, coriander. I like a lot of coriander powder, and this doesn't smell very fragrant. So I'm gonna do that. And then I'm gonna put the garam masala now instead of later. Yeah. And there's no dried fenugreek, which is a bummer because I love fenugreek. It's really good. It needs more seasoning. And I'm gonna put the rest of these dried chilies, or to put the rest of these. I think it needs heat. And I honestly think it needs more ginger and garlic. Because this stuff is not as potent in a tube.
Is my pickled chilies, available now? Since she's already shelf stable.
I think she could throw those in there if you want.
You want to go tell her?
Yeah. If you want a little more heat, if you desire. Technically shelf stable.
Oh, yes.
Technically shelf stable.
Would love.
Homemade pickled Thai
Oh my
bird
God,
chilies.
yes. That is exactly what this needs. I want the bitter flavor of the asafoetida to cook off a little bit. Oh wait, I used this spoon already.
This
is
is going to be spicy.
We have a
It's
knife.
going to be very spicy.
Knife.
That is Thai spicy.
One? I'm just gonna taste one. Mmm. These are so good. Yum. Good tip, Chris. Damn, the pickled chilies. That is so good. Wow. Okay. Let's keep going. Cauliflower. I mean, we're basically just making like a nice chunky mash. So in keema, the fat from the beef is doing a lot of the heavy lifting, which is why I brought in ghee. But like, Abhishek, this is really smart. I think I might make a version of this at home. I'm gonna throw in a few more of these. And you know what? I think I'm gonna, at the end, maybe put some crispy onions on top. I'll put some crispy onions and pickled chilies on top. I think that'll be really good. So I'm just gonna cook this for a little bit. Maybe and I'll add my peas and finish it up. Okay. So this has just been simmering. I added a little more tomato, a little more onion, and a little more of this ginger paste. I have to say, like, this is really good, but I'm like feeling the lack of freshness. You know, ginger paste, ginger powder, I think it's just never gonna be an adequate replacement for fresh ginger. Garlic powder is never gonna replace the fresh stuff. I definitely added too much hing, but like my dad would love this. The pickled chilies did me a lot of favors. I think at the end I might tip in some of the juice in lieu of citric acid to get the like lemony vibe. And also add a little bit more heat. And then I think I might sprinkle the top with more fried onions. And I think that's gonna be really delicious. Maybe put like a few little pickled chilies. But like, I don't know. I remember it was like during COVID where we could not make grocery runs and we just had to make do with a lot of canned stuff. You can find your way to delicious, but obviously fresh produce is fantastic and a privilege. So I'm just gonna fold these in, basically. And these are gonna be my element of freshness and brightness, despite the fact that these are not fresh. And the hope is that these will just kind of rehydrate in the stew. But like, you'll see a lot of dishes in Indian food with peas because the peas are like those little pops of fresh, and you really want those. Like when I make matar paneer, like the peas are doing a ton of heavy lifting. And I think they're gonna make a world of flavor. This, plus some of that juice, I think is gonna do great things to this. All right, did I miss anything? I think I've added everything I need. Oh, I mean, frankly, like, I had served this to my parents and I think they'd be super happy, especially my dad, because of all of the hing. Hing is another word for asafoetida, but just easier to say. All right, I think we're basically there. The peas, okay. I'm just gonna let the peas cook for a little bit. But like basically when you add, if you were to add frozen, like I just add them and wait for them to just thaw, and then you're good to go. They serve a really specific purpose in a dish like this. You do not want to overcook them. You want them to stay green. See, like this almost looks like it could be a fresh pea. I think we did the right choice not doing canned, because I think the canned was gonna taste kind of like sad and metallic-y. Okay, taste it again. The peas are adding a nice crunch. I can't say that they're adding much freshness though, but I think that is literally just a product of their freeze-dried peas. Oh, man, that hing, the quantity of hing I added is truly coming back to bite me. And you know what? I don't even mind the little crunchy pea. It just gives a little bit of textural variety. Day 2 of this dish is gonna be like 10 times better than day 1. Like whenever I'm making dal for someone, I make the dal, put it in a quart container, stick it in my fridge, and then the next day I make the chonk, or like the, you know, the ghee that goes on top, because it's just so much better that way. I'm gonna just dump the rest of these tomatoes in here. It needs like a little sweetness. Like I kind of want to add a little bit of sugar, but feels blasphemous. My mom would never approve. So I think a little tomato is gonna add, like I'm literally just trying to cover up my mistake of dumping too much asafoetida into this. That's really what I'm trying to do. I'm gonna turn the heat off, and then I'm gonna put some of the pickle juice in lieu of citric acid. See how that tastes. Okay.
Oh, Lordy.
Oh
God, did I put way too much?
Oh, my
I'm just
Lord.
gonna,
Boy.
just gonna take some of that out. That was a huge mistake. That was a huge mistake. I just needed a little. Okay. Okay.
She's gonna sweat now.
It's great. It's really good. We did it. We did it.
Let's see the perspiration. Beads of sweat.
Okay.
All right.
What have you done?
We had our highs and lows, but I think we did it. This is Gobhi Keema Matar with freeze-dried peas and cauliflower and canned tomatoes, frizzled shallots.
Frizzled?
Yeah, that's
Wow.
what these are. They're frizzled.
Are they called frizzled?
No, that's just what they looked like, frizzled to me.
That's a great term. I assumed that this was a thing, but you just said keema matar with cauliflower is actually not a common thing.
I mean, it's not something I'm aware of. Okay. Maybe in certain circles.
So you've never had this.
And like really, like any meat dish, it's sort of like the meat fat is doing a lot of heavy lifting. So with a dish like this, I'm sort of thinking like without the meat fat, how do you create that depth of flavor? And it's honestly, it's ghee and hing that are gonna do that. Yeah, definitely eat with rice. This is an eat with rice thing. Get a pickled chili. The pickled chilies really came in clutch. It sort of added like a little bit of freshness when I couldn't get it, when it was really lacking it. But like that ginger tube was just, as far as I'm concerned, just like unflavored mush. It essentially disappeared as soon as it was added. But eat it with a chili. You gotta get the chili.
People would have no idea if this is shelf stable, except for the peas that were not rehydrated.
What do you think?
It's very good.
Hingomania over here.
For sure, I can taste the asafoetida. But I agree. If you had hydrated the peas, you would not be able to tell.
I figured they would just cook in the liquid, and then I just got impatient. I'm sure if I'd left them cook a little longer, they would have done their thing.
My chilies are the star of the show, though.
The chilies really, honestly, those chilies, as soon as I added them and tasted, I was like, oh my God, this is so much better.
I'm going in for seconds. It's really good. I think the dry cauliflower is an advantage in this dish because it's got almost zero moisture or H2O in it, so it's going to absorb all of that flavor. Well, and because it's already sort of desiccated, it becomes mush to become a little bit more like that minced meat.
Yeah. I gotta say, I'm really happy I added the entire can of tomatoes.
Well, you sort of needed it.
You really needed it.
Because those peas.
Really needed it.
These poor peas are so thirsty.
I know.
They're so thirsty. They're just like, give us some water. Yeah. Please, some water.
Come on.
Listen, man.
I even like the peas.
Yeah, there was a point at which I was like, is the crunch doing good things in this?
You know what I would have done to replace that? I would have put corn nuts.
You love corn nuts.
Because that's basically what the peas are to me right
They're
now.
not. They're so crunchy. They're like.
The peas just
nuggets
the peas were just
leather.
not bringing any, they weren't bringing pea flavor either. The point of a dish like this, adding peas, is you have that nice pop of fresh, and they're just not
Of
doing
springtime.
that. Yeah.
After the dark winter.
It's a delicious dish.
All right. Priya and Dave are heading to the green room. I'm taking over the kitchen here. I can't even begin to imagine the mean things they're going to say about me in this room. I'm going to be making the same dish, Gobhi Keema Matar, except that I have been assigned the maniacal task of having to fuse this already kind of mashup dish with the culture and cuisine of the American Southwest Tex-Mex style. I have to make Tex-Mex what? I have to make Tex-Mex aloo gobi matar. So I'm not from Texas, nor am I from Mexico, nor am I from India. So I think that makes me perfectly qualified to be doing this and desecrating hundreds and thousands of years of culture. So here's what I'm gonna do. Well, I'm trying to think of Tex-Mex dishes. I think there's something to do with fajitas that's gonna happen. Something to do with refried beans / dal, and something to do with peas and guacamole. So let me just see what I can do. All right, I'm gonna do ghee. So we'll melt this. I think I'm gonna do basically refritos in the style of dal. I'm just you guys can just cancel me now, it's fine. Some dried red chili, some chili powder, I guess a little asafoetida, like they do down in El Paso way. And black beans are gonna be my lentils. And what else? Turmeric. No asafoetida. Yes, asafoetida. Whatever. And cumin seed. So I think this is what Priya Krishna taught me. It's called chonk, but I'm not going to use it as chonk. I think he would usually make this very flavorful, infused fat and kind of spill it over the top of your cooked lentils, and that would be, a super simple dal. And for refried beans, you would sort of do the inverse, right? You saute your onion and pork fat and garlic or whatever, and then you cook your beans down and down and down until they're mush. So I'm gonna do like a hacky version of that. Cumin seed into the pan. I'm gonna do a little chili right in there too. Just, it's one of my favorite flavors is when cumin starts to toast. Just kidding, Priya. What's happening? Maybe a little more cumin. Make this taste like something. And you know what? Whatever. Here. Let's throw some garlic in there. And let that do its thing. I mean, it does smell pretty good. No bean left behind. Turmeric. Salt. Let me just pander to my audience here. A little bit of more chili.
You really careful? Yeah, good, good. Don't do what Dave and I did.
Kind of has like a dried mango scent to it, I feel like. So that's that. Let's do cauliflower. So this recipe calls for, I think, 500 grams. I think this is a little bit more than I need. So I'm gonna do like half of it right now. I think you're supposed to get it like a mince like this.
Yeah. That's right. It's just like, just throw it in a food processor.
Blend it! Faster!
Dave is yelling for me to go faster. I refuse.
You need the mezzaluna!
Don't use the mezzaluna.
All right. So this recipe says to soak all of this in turmeric water, which I'll kind of do, I think. I asked Priya ahead of time what the role of turmeric water was, and she said it was at a purifying properties. Who am I to question? Who am I to question the purifying properties of turmeric water? Onion, tomato, that's a serrano. Before I do that, I'm gonna do something that these guys are gonna hate. I wouldn't do this if I hadn't been assigned a Tex-Mex thing, but I was assigned a Tex-Mex thing.
What are you doing with the, oh, he's putting the peas in the blender?
What?
Wait, why?
This is a horror show.
Is he making like a pea salsa?
This is literally like a horror movie. We're like, why are you going into the boathouse?
Wait.
You know you're gonna die. You know you're gonna die. I think he's gonna fold it in.
No, he shouldn't
To the
do that.
Colorado.
I don't think he should do that. I think he should just,
He's gonna fold it in with.
it should be its own thing. Maybe.
No, he's folding it in. We'll see.
I bet that'll taste pretty
Okay,
good.
no, we're getting to see Chris Ying as a cocktail maker.
You ready for this? So instead of just making ginger garlic paste and then chopping tomatoes, I just did the hackiest thing possible, which was just to blend it all together. This is my refried dal over here, which honestly, not super mad about that. Into this go, I forgot the onion, whatever, it's gonna go somewhere else. Don't worry about that. Into this coriander, garam masala,
Okay.
a huge amount of asafoetida.
Careful. No. No.
Salt. It's my yellow stained cauliflower. This, which I've never used in my life, is a fajita pan, and it goes on here. And when they come out to serve this to you at the restaurant, they carry it really high through the whole place so that the sizzling deliciousness passes through the dining room. So I think we want that thing smoking hot, right? All right, so I just want this to be more or less cooked. preferably more cooked than less. See, I feel like it's like somewhere between fajitas and tandoori, right? No. Got my pea-camole, refritos. Gobhi Keema Matar, fajita style. The peas I put into a pea-camole. I know, I'm as embarrassed as you are. These are refried beans in the style of chonk, refried beans masquerading as chonk, and 2 tortillas because I burnt the third one. This is my best approximation of a Tex-Mex style aloo gobi matar. Come eat this monstrosity.
Ready?
I've not obviously made this. I've obviously not really tasted it.
Thank you. This smells really good. I mean, it tastes pretty good.
It doesn't taste, it tastes good.
I think it tastes pretty good.
It does taste
It's pretty good. Yeah.
But the path we took there was sad. I almost want to make it myself.
It is pretty good, Chris.
It is good. The pea-camole, I could see that at a supermarket near you. There's a lot of things you shoulda, coulda, woulda. Sorry.
Sure.
Chris, I think
it's
you
my
did
first go at making something
I
up.
think you did a pretty good job.
Oh, thanks, Priya. All right, that's my Tex-Mex version of this thing. Lots of things I
You
could
seem
have done.
traumatized and shell-shocked by what happened.
Lots of things I could have done
Right?
differently.
Doesn't it seem like,
It does.
can we talk about it? What happened?
Chris was.
Making this up
Yeah.
out of nothing and just like teetering on the line of defiling multiple cultures at the same time is a stressful place to be. Just be like, "Whoa, it's gonna offend the Tex-Mex. Oh, it's gonna offend the Indians. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing." That's a stressful position to be walking the fine line. It's 2 ways. You got 1 more to go.
Well, I'm done.
We have to taste
We
yours.
have to taste the slow cooker version
I'll get mine right now. We wouldn't have to change anything. I'll be right back.
Dave made.
Hi, Dave Chang here, and I just wanted to start off by just clapping my hands. No, I'm here because I got to make a one-pot version of a Gobhi Keema Matar, which I'm sure I probably had some version of, but I've never made, and I have a one-pot. I've never seen the TV show The Last of Us, or what is it, This Is Us? One is an apocalyptic version of the future, and the other is an apocalyptic version of, living with normal people. But I've been told that there's a horrific fire because of a slow cooker, but nothing would scare me more than a potential.
That's not The Last of Us.
I do not like cooking anything because I have had some issues in my life, especially when I lived next door to Momofuku at 10th Street First Avenue, where I would cook overnight and I would take a nap from like 12 to maybe 12:30 to 3 o'clock, and then I'd wake up and change, turn around the oven because I was cooking all this pork in there. And one time I didn't wake up at 3:30 and it burned, and I almost burned down the building. And it was extremely reckless of me to do. And I've never liked cooking anything overnight ever since. So while it's not based on the fictional story of This Is Us, I have a real fear of cooking anything overnight or in the vicinity of a place where I'm not physically in. I am now going to make Gobhi Keema Matar and in crock pot. But I do not want to cook it in the studio overnight. And I do not want to bring it at home overnight. I don't want to travel with this crock pot. So I read the rules. I hired an attorney, and I'm still cooking in a crock pot. But I'm going to cook it in the crock pot, the inner piece, and then transfer it there. So I hope this doesn't. I'm going to cook it on a low heat. I'm gonna try to mimic the heat of a slow cooker, but it's really like a medium fast slow cooker. Never been done on camera before. I'm gonna try to move as fast as I can before this breaks. Everyone that's filming here has left the room because they're scared. Not to worry. So you throw some chilies in there, green chili chopped. This is serrano. Who knew that I could create so much drama with a slow cooker? This is better than This Is Us. There's real drama here. This knife is incredibly dull. There's a high probability I'm gonna cut myself, but I'm gonna keep on marching on because I'm trying to cook this. In the moment, before I do that, I wanna actually bloom all the spices I have in here. So it's a teaspoon of pretty much everything. You got some chili powder. We got some turmeric, a teaspoon.
It's not a teaspoon.
That looks about right.
How much do you think that actually was?
Teaspoon of everything.
So
2.5
much. That's
tablespoons.
so much turmeric.
Garam masala.
Garam
powder.
masala. Oh my god.
Teaspoon of cumin seeds. It's a lot.
Why is he adding
He
it?
goes, that's a lot.
That's not a lot.
The asafoetida powder.
Oh, please don't dump it. Just don't dump. Oh, no, Dave, don't dump it.
That's so much.
That's so much.
And coriander.
Wow, this is a potent, very potent.
And lemon juice. Oh, shit. I already fucked this up. Their recipe. I'm supposed to soak it in fucking water. Not in the recipe. Momo sea salt. Am I moving faster than Chris did? I'll show you slow cooker. I'll show you motherfucker slow cooker. You know what? I'm still gonna cook with it because I love cilantro stems. I'm gonna see if we can handle some more heat, but I'll be right back with a secret. All of my ways that I've messed up this recipe, I'm now going to correct.
I remember the exact moment. I was standing in the other kitchen having a meeting, and he came in to grab that pestle and was like, I'm breaking the sound barrier. And went back in the other room.
No.
Oh my God.
Don't crack on me now. I feel like we're in a movie where I'm not in a kitchen making recipe club. I'm in a spaceship that's trying to get re-entry to our atmosphere. And I'm just trying to say, hold on, baby, we can do it. Don't break on me now. We keep on trying to get this temperature higher because I believe in it. What I'm trying to listen for is literally liquid sizzling and burning underneath. Much like a temperature shield on a space capsule coming back into Earth. A little more heat. Come on, we can do this. I'm so scared. It also doesn't help that I'm exerting an extraordinary amount of force into this bowl as it's heated up. We're taking slow cookers where they've never gone before. Whew. Oh. I am gonna stop mashing. Come on, baby. Oh, no.
God.
Well, it's official. I broke it. Well, this is gonna be good for TV. Ay, ay, ay. I need a sheet tray. Hotel pan stat. Got it.
Oh my God. The patient is dying
my
on
God.
the table. The patient is dying on the table.
Oh no!
Oh no!
This is incredible.
There you have it, folks. Gobhi Keema Matar. Down in a hot pot. I mean, slow cooker.
What does he say?
What did I think was going to happen? Exactly this. I crashed and burned.
This is what my children look like after they make a mistake, like spill something on the ground. They're just like, oops. This is incredible.
I'm out. I've been eliminated, but I'm still going to make this tasty.
I'm out.
Look at how much it's like.
What the fuck is happening?
Oh no. Oh my God.
Only crack from the bottom.
Crack from
It
the
all-
bottom.
Hey, listen, Priya, listen. It only cracked from the bottom. It's okay.
On the bright side, it does taste very good.
Surprising to me. But
We'll find out. We'll find out. Oh, Dave.
Like,
Is he booking a flight out of the country? I gotta get out of here.
listen, I made a disaster. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this mess. Look at this. I'm going to have a hell of a time cleaning that up. But I'm going to quote our great president, Teddy Roosevelt. The only man who never makes mistakes is the man who never does anything. When you're at the end of your rope, no, that's not it. That's not it. Son of a.
That applies.
Here comes the champ.
Here comes the conquering hero. Oh, did you?
So did you actually slow cook it?
What's the Japanese art of putting together ceramics again with gold? Kintsugi?
It's a lot of prayer.
Sugi, yeah.
Did you do that to this crock pot that you shattered
Wait, you
yesterday?
fixed it?
No. This is a stunt pot.
This is how it's traditionally served in small.
Thank you.
I never finished seasoning this. Need salt? I never finished, after it cracked,
We just left it.
no, I scooped off some and I put it in any day.
Oh.
And then I just wanted to show you exactly where it was when the recipe stopped working.
This is a picture of a moment
So
in time.
I scooped off, yeah.
This is Noma, time and place.
I scooped off the bottom. I just scooped off from the top where there would be no shards of whatever this is made out of from the bottom. And I didn't want to cheat by fixing it up. So this is exactly where it was. When
The unthinkable happened.
my plane broke on me.
If you had just let that actually slow cook, you would have been fine, right?
Seasoned and
But I didn't.
Taken back some of the asafoetida.
This is 30 minutes of cooking, not in the slow cooker.
30 minutes or less in the slow cooker. This is just
30 minutes or less.
lightly thawed cauliflower in a pot.